All right, everyone, welcome back to Patriot Ridge Farm. I know it's been almost a month since my last video. Man, I can make all kinds of excuses. There's been too much stuff going on. So that's why I haven't got a video out. So this is where we are with the greenhouse so far, the high tunnel. So we got the baseboards down along each side. Those are treated 2x12 by 12s. Went ahead and did the Shosugi bond charring method on them. Got those down. Then of course we had about a week and a half where we couldn't do anything. And then finally, this past Saturday, we were able to start putting the uprights up. And the problem with, yeah. So what we found out is there's not much direction on the uprights on the metal end walls. And that's simply because it's pretty much customizable. So they really don't lay it out there. They just kind of give you a grid paper and say, for a 26 foot wide or a 30 foot wide, this is how you space them. So we had to pretty much draw up our own plans, figure it out. We knew we needed a rough 93 inches for the two center ones here. That's where the two sliding doors go on each end. And then of course we measured from there. You do set them down in the ground. They say 6 inches. I think we went down about 18 just to be safe, being that we are up here on this hill, and we do get some good wind, so we just went ahead and did that for extra stability. Then once you get them up, you go up to the bow, you kind of mark off and then come bring it back out, cut it off where you need it, and then set it up there. And then there's clamps that hold it up there. So we got that far. We do need to dig in between the two door posts, and then there'll be a cross member go across there, probably about 10-12 inches deep, and that'll help give it stability at the bottom. Even though they're already in the ground, that kind of helps brace them up. And then at 8 feet up, there's a bar that goes across the top. That'd be our header. And then once we do that, then we'll do the horizontals all through here. They say space them 2 to 4 feet apart to a maximum of 4 feet apart. So we'll go ahead and get that done. And of course, there is a base bar that goes across the bottom there over to each door. And when we start putting the sheeting up, we'll have to dig a little trench across the front here, because you want that sheeting about that far covered in dirt, because they are hollow, like almost like a honeycomb type thing, but they're hollow cells in between the two layers of polycarbonate that allows for airflow. But you want to get them buried, that way you don't get dirt or air flowing in underneath of it, especially in the colder months. So that's where we're at with that. And of course, as you can tell with the mud, this is just straight clay, so it puts about 12 pounds of added weight on each foot. And then climbing up and down that ladder was, of course, it got a little sporty a couple times with when your boots are just completely covered in mud. I do have some round bells. I'm probably going to bring one up here and just kind of roll it out in the front, and then across the back there, and then along the sides, just to kind of mitigate some of this mud as we move forward here. It rained last day and a half again. Now it's cold, and we had some snow this morning. Had about 15, 20 mile an hour winds, and then, you know, it's supposed to just not be good until Wednesday, and then it's going to be cooler, very cloudy. All right, so the mailman showed up. It's getting close to dark, and he's still got a truck full. So this is where we're at with this, and like I said, it's customizable. We want to make sure we're doing exactly what we need to do it the right way. That's why we didn't even tamp the dirt around the holes or anything like that, or in the holes around the post, because we know we've got to make just a couple little slight adjustments, especially on the doors. We're 93 at the bottom, but we're just about 92 3/8 at the top. So what we're going to do is go ahead and cut the two 93 inch, so the header and the footer, so to speak, and get it in there, and then reset from there. But you know, we worked about as far as we was going to work Saturday. It was about 60 degrees. It was really nice, but the mud was a big hindrance. So we're going to try to keep plugging along with this. My timeline of getting this completed is definitely shot. That went out the window a long time ago. I really hope the 2 weeks I took off during Thanksgiving for deer season, that I could really get a lot of work done on this thing in between hunting. It didn't happen. So the weather just didn't cooperate. So anyways, we're going to plug along with this. Our goal is to have it ready to go by spring for planting and everything. So feed. Okay, so you guys, I told you before that I went to a local mill that was fairly new, started getting all of my feed from them. So the 8 piglets that were growing out, they ate it no problem whatsoever, but 3 of my 4 adults just barely would touch it. They wouldn't have much to do with it at all. And it's snowing now, so And then also the feed for the chickens, the egg layers, they're just not getting satiated with it. I put 25 pounds in their feeders, the two breeds that I have, the American Breast and the Delaware Broilers, and they're just not satiated. And then of course the Niederrheiners, Delawares, and American Breasts, and the Niederrheiners that we have together right now, they're just not getting satiated with it. And it is a very, very high corn content, even though it does have some soy in it. It is 17% protein. They're just not getting satiated with it. So with the pigs, when I finished up what I had with them, it was only 25% distiller's grain, 75% soy base, and it had, of course, the minerals and stuff in it that they needed. It had the hit me. All right, you guys know what it is if you know what I'm talking about with pigs. It's slipping my mind right now. But even though it had everything, they did not like it. So I went to another local farm family store, not local, but a little farther than the mill that I was going to. And price was very, very comparable. And when I bought it by the ton, they were giving me 10% off. So I could not complain about that. And it's back to the commercial feed that I raised my original adults on, and had no problems with it. So we're now feeding them that. There's about 150 pounds, probably about 150 pounds of the layer feed left. As soon as it's gone, I'm going to Rural King because they've got the cheapest that I can find. And I'll go back to their Country Roads brand layer pellets because that's what I've always raised my chickens on before and had no issues with at all. And of course, egg laying really cuts down a lot this time of year. That it's pretty much nothing. There's absolutely no eggs whatsoever right now, and there hasn't been. So I think the feed's probably having a big role to play in that. And with such high corn content, it's going to put a lot of fat on them. While they need corn or like carbohydrates for some fat, especially through the winter, they don't need that much. And they need a more diverse, I'm going to say more diverse diet that you'll find in commercial feeds. So we're going to have to switch back to that. And I mean, I hated to do it. My animals are telling me they don't like it. All right, and the last thing is we did process the meat birds a couple weeks ago, and I think probably the best we got carcass size was about 3.5 pounds, maybe 4 at the biggest. And we just decided we're not going to put our family label on that. We're not going to sell those chickens. So we just processed them all, and they were really skinny. It's funny to say they were fat and skinny at the same time. They had way more fat than a Cornish cross should ever have on them. And if you're familiar with Cornish cross, they got these big meaty breasts and these big meaty thighs and legs and stuff. These things were damn near anorexic. And again, that goes back to me calling the hatchery and saying, hey, do you guys have problems with these birds? And they said, yes, they've been getting a lot of feedback that the growth was very poor. So I'm assuming that's a genetic problem. I'm not a hatchery owner, so I don't know. But I think it's probably just poor genetics, and they've either wore that line out or just got a bad line in there somewhere. So they said, hey, we'll reimburse you for what chickens that you have left. And I accepted. I mean, because otherwise they're a total loss. Other than the food for us, yes, we'll eat them. We'll probably pressure can a bunch of them and cut them up into like legs, thighs, and breasts and stuff. But other than that, I'm not going to sell those products because I don't want those anorexic chickens to be representative of what we want to produce and what we have produced in the past. So that's where we're at with that. I'm going to have to find a good quality meat bird food at a reasonable price, so I don't have to jack my prices up on my chickens for next year. And next year, of course, we are going to start later in the year with our first batch because we have family stuff planned and some vacation time and stuff coming up early in the summer. And I don't want to leave that extra work on the farm setter that we'll have. The pigs will be enough, and the other chickens and rabbits and stuff, and I don't want to put that extra burden on them. So we're going to do a little later, and like I said, we're going to have a lot of chickens, so that's a good thing though. I mean, we've got a lot of chicken, so that's where we're at with that. And again, I've had vehicle problems. Both my vehicle, my truck and my Jeep I've had mechanical issues with, so I've been limping around on one while the other one's getting fixed, and then driving it until the other one gets fixed, and then something else happened. And you guys know how it does. When it rains, it pours type of thing, and everything just kind of come on all at once. So most of the time, especially when it's rainy and everything like that, just getting my chores done, there's just no content to that unless you want to watch me walk around and feed my animals, which, okay. But I typically need both hands for that, and it's just me doing that kind of stuff. So not a lot of good content material here recently, but that's where we're at with this. hopefully we'll get to plug along on it. Probably not a whole lot before Christmas now. Most of it will probably happen after the Christmas holidays. So sorry if I talk fast. I'm just trying to get all this stuff out. I just got the wood stove cleaned out, got the ashes dumped over here, so I'm gonna start. I've been dumping them in here. That way it'll, even though we're going to pile compost up in here in rows and everything like that to grow our plants and stuff in, our vegetables and everything in, I want to do at least get something more on the exposed clay here to kind of get some kind of good minerals and stuff in there before we even get that far. But that's where we're at. Again, sorry. Content is content, man. When I get it, and I'll share it with you. But I'll try to keep you up on this build. And this time of year, hey man, family's what it's all about. So, you know, my focus is my family, take care of my animals, whether I get a video out there or not. This is a hobby for me. By the way, I do appreciate the subscriptions. We're over 1,000 subscribers. And I really enjoy, you know, the comments and everything. Well, I enjoy most of the comments, probably about 99% of them. Some people get on there and they just want to be buttholes for whatever reason. But, you know, there's a difference between, hey, what about this? Or, hey, have you thought about this? Versus, you should do it this way because you know, what you're doing is stupid type of thing. Yeah, I ain't got time for people like that. Anyways, thank you for the subscriptions. You can help us out by sharing the content, sharing the videos, you know, commenting on the videos. If you got any input, try to keep it positive. Because I really don't want to go all keyboard caps lock on somebody if I don't have to. And I will. I warn you, I will. But anyways, that's where we're at. I'll keep you guys up. Bad time of year here to try to keep, you know, good content just simply because of everything else going on. And we're fighting the weather every step of the way. But I'll get you guys some more stuff out here hopefully soon, mostly after Christmas and stuff. So before I close this video out, I wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. God bless you all. Hopefully 2024 we can make it a better year, and hopefully it turns out to be a better year than what we've already had. We really can't complain. We honestly can't complain too much. But anyways, get and stay prepared. Stay free. God bless you all.